What's up, everybody? So I'm sitting here doing an open house and I had a few minutes and I really wanted to go over some of the reasons why some people get wealthy in real estate and others don't. And it's really boils down to a handful of things that some people get right and some people get wrong, and some people don't want to listen, and some people just watch HD TV. And it doesn't quite work like that. So if you've watched this channel, you've seen me buy houses, flip houses, do real estate agent stuff. And so in this video, I'm going to tell you like the common mistakes people make when they're renovating houses. They over renovate or they under renovate, and things they skip on. And there's no way to get around some of these things, and there's ways to get around others. So we're going to go into that in this video. I'm going to tell you how to, this is just going to be the nuts and bolts. This is an impromptu video, and I'm pretty excited because I just want everybody to know, if you stick with this video, you'll know kind of the things that everybody's sugarcoating around on real estate. So there's really like three people that get into real estate and do well. And those that are willing to do hard work, sweat equity, those with money, those that don't have money and find it, use other people's money, and those that have a personality and can wholesale properties until they hopscotch their way up to enough money to buy properties. And those three categories don't really take "I can't do this" as like the answer. And I've sat here and watched a lot of my friends get really wealthy in real estate, and in the last 5 years or so. And most of them didn't even start with any money. They either joint ventured with people with money, or they traded their sweat equity for money, hard money. They used their W-2 jobs to get loans. They did whatever it took, and they read as many books as it took to understand the concept of real estate investing and how to gain wealth in real estate. So first I want to talk about the first category of people that really get wealthy in real estate. So like the guys that already have money. They buy things with cash. They make the most return out of it. They don't give away anything to the bank. They basically run all the rules, they make all the rules, and they say the way it was going to be. They find a property that's undervalued. They buy it. They don't care what the insurance company says because there's a hole in the roof or there's a hole in the floor or the wiring is messed up in the house. They buy the house at a discount price, 70% to ARV, or what they think they can remodel the thing into. And they close, they do the work, they got the money in their pocket. It gets done inside of a week because they're not dealing with any other personalities. They put it back on the market. They sell it for, an elevated price. They win, or they hold it for a year with a renter in it, Airbnb it, whatever, until their capital gains changes and they make the most money they can out of that property. The other group is they use somebody else's money, usually W-2 employee. They buy a property, use the bank, get a conventional loan, or if they're buying it in their personal name, they're going to live in it and renovate it. FHA or any of these small amount of money down loans, which works. It works if you are not planning to stay there very long, or you are planning to do the work. But I've never been one to want to have a mortgage on a property, because it makes you, and nobody will tell you these things, it makes you have insurance. It sometimes doesn't work because the bank requires you to have insurance, a certain kind of insurance. That insurance is usually more expensive. You don't make any of the rules with that. And there's stipulations with what you can do with the property when you have a mortgage. Sometimes you can't make a major change to a property. Sometimes you can have questions in limbo like that. And never been one to want to have a mortgage on a property, because you're giving a lot of skin to the bank. Same way with a hard money lender. You're giving skin to the hard money lender. But if you don't have the money, those are the things you got to play. When I bought all my rental properties, I bought them cash. They had bad roofs and problems. You could not have closed them with a conventional loan or an FHA or a VA loan. I was able to close them because I had cash and I made a big return on them. Big example, wiring. Let's say you got paper, old wiring, 1938's knob and tube, insurance company not going to cover you. Let's say you got here on the Gulf Coast, you got a roof over 15 years old, you're not closing, insurance is not going to bind with you, most likely. Let's say you've got a hole in the floor, or you got things like that. The appraiser says, you know what, not doing it. Hole in the roof, not doing it. Those things will keep you from getting insurance, or the appraiser from allowing the loan to go through, protecting the bank. But with cash, I could say I'm buying that house, keep the power turned off, have the electrician go in the next day, start rewiring. And sometimes it could be just 1 or 2 circuits in a box from one breaker, just one room, like outlet to outlet, 2 outlets, 3 outlets, and it's an easy fix. But insurance company panics. As an investor, those things you gotta like really go and get in the trenches with. So like, for example, if you're a young guy and you don't have any money, but let's say you got enough money for a down payment, and you're moving into your first house. Say you're 23, 24 years old, you put very little money down on your FHA, and you buy a piece of property undervalued that would pass an inspection, you know, the 4-point or whatever will allow you to get some insurance. You'll say you go in there, you renovate this thing, you have to live in it for a year with an FHA, VA loan, whatever, and you renovate it, put a renter in it, you get out of it, you go on to the next property, put very little down again, you got enough spread that you're going to be able to cover all the problems. Because what they don't tell you with these no money down BRRRR strategies is if an air conditioner goes out, that's $4,000 or $5,000, there goes your cash flow for years. Meanwhile, you're dealing with the headache of these properties. And, you know, it's just one of those things that they don't tell you about when you're doing these BRRRR strategies. That's why when I buy cash and I've bought real low, my cash flow is so high that I'm going to make the money back pretty fast. And, you know, there's a running joke of why are they called mortgage brokers? Because they get people with no money broker. Like when COVID happened and you had 10 properties and you were no money down and your renter stopped paying, you still you're on the hook for taxes, your legal expenses, your maintenance costs, all these things. Because let me tell you something, dishwasher, few years, it's going to go out. Let's say a refrigerator right here, 10 years, it's going to go out. Roof's going to last you 15 years. All these things, there's a formula for all these things. So you got to realize that you could put yourself in a situation where you're funding these properties for a long time and you're not going to see any cash back. You know, whether you're putting the money down or you're funding expenses, there's going to be expenses to these properties. So I want to talk about another group of people, those that trade sweat equity for getting into real estate and making the money. Like, let's say you're a young guy and there's this really cool property. You know, this is the term, find the deal, find the money, right? You know this property, you know you can make money on this property, but you don't have any money. So you go and find somebody that does have money, you give them skin in the game, joint venture with them, 50-50, 20-80, 80-20, 70-30, whatever you want to do to trade your sweat equity, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to climb the ladder, okay, in the financial world. So like, let's say you know how to do floors, you know how to do plumbing, you know how to do all these things, and you just need to get the property. So you go and find you a guy, and they're everywhere. Cash deal guys, you can find them in a lot of these real estate investor groups, these cash buyers, these big money guys. And I guarantee you, if you say, you know what, sir, I'm willing to do all the work on this, if you'll just get me in the deal and give me some skin on paper, and they might be like, you know what, I'll do it. Because there's a lot of people out there with money and not getting any return right now because the banks are just so bad. So I mean, you're getting like almost negative interest rates at the bank, even though interest rates are going up on loans, you know, another video. So what you do is you go get the property under contract, you close, you go do the work, and you give them their skin when you sell it, and you put some money in your pocket. And you know, it is a viable way of doing it. It's hard work. Yeah, it's not going to be easy. And some people will say, oh, well, I can just go work a job. You can. But if you're trying to do it on Saturdays and Sundays and you're trying to make extra money and you're trying to hop the ladder, that's a way to do it. And that brings me into my next and kind of final category of like how to make money with real estate, okay? And this is the wholesaler group, okay? Let's say you have personality, you're able to communicate with people very well. Let's say you have some sales skills, and you go along and you look at these properties in these neighborhoods and you find ones that had issues. I mean, like issues. Like usually when the grass is growing up and they're vacant, and you've heard stories about it, you go up, knock on the door, make a phone call, send a letter, and you say, you know what, I'm willing to buy your house. And when you get it under contract, let's say I'll give you $100,000 for it. And they're like, cool. And I know that house is going to be worth $200,000 or $225,000. I get it under contract for $100,000. I go find me a cash buyer somewhere. I give them skin. It's like, okay, I'm willing to sell this contract to you for $110,000. They're like, cool, because they know they can get $250,000. And you basically sell them the equity value in the contract, the equitable value, the paper for that $10,000. They go to closing. You assign him the contract. The two people go to closing, and you get the check for $10,000. And you do this until you have enough money for a down payment on your property, or enough for a cash, or enough to purchase a house cash. You can do this enough times to where you get enough money to do real estate. You're just climbing the ladder. And not everybody is able to do that, because one of the biggest things, there's really not another asset out there that you can buy and do things to it to make it worth more. You can even overpay sometimes and do certain things to make it worth more. Like one of my favorite ones is buying a house with a carport. Hold on, let me show you this. House with a carport, and I've talked about this on a couple of my videos. Like this one has a carport right here. See, and you just wall it in, okay? Because you're adding square foot to the property. All you're gonna do is put 4 walls on a carport that's already got a roof and add ventilation to it, and you've got more livable square footage. So let's just make the math easy. 100 square feet in a carport, wall it in. Let's say the area's selling at $200 a square foot. 100 times 200, and that's the added value. Like what I've really been trying to do in my house is put an extra bathroom in the carport. Now we're cooking with peanut oil. And once you do that, you can just make enough to now the deal's back working again. And you can buy houses with paint's bad, floor carpet is the carpet smells bad, and underneath it is wood floors. Done that 3 or 4 times. It's an easy $20,000 right there. So when you find houses that have a little odor to them or they smell kind of bad, it takes like 15 minutes to pull some carpet out of the house, throw it in a dumpster. Instant equity. Things like that you can't do with a stock or anything else. You can go to the bank and leverage it if you're good, and that's a whole different world is what leverage can do with you on a property. I don't like leverage because I got enough money to do the deals, but everybody's like, well, Jack, how'd you get all that money? I saved it. I saved it for a long time. And when I started my YouTube channel, the money it made, I used to buy more real estate, and then I flipped the real estate and put the money back into the next adventure. And it was just my piggy bank to make more money. So it's totally doable. If you have the ability and you take inventory with your assets in life, say you're a strong person, or you're real good with your hands, or if you're a real good talker, you got to know where you fall in line with this stuff. But I've had many friends get rich in real estate in the last 5 years by knowing what they're good at and knowing how to do these things. Like I bought my first property with basically a loan. I put down my 20%. I got in there. I worked on it. I did everything I was supposed to. And when the market turned around, it was worth a ton of money. Okay, I bought it for $60,000, put 20% down, and then I started paying for renovation costs. And was it hard? Yes, but you know what? It was all available on YouTube to learn. Wiring was available on YouTube to learn. Plumbing. I got somebody else to put the roof on. Had somebody else install the air conditioner. But the things I knew how to do and I could learn how to do, I learned how to do it. And then I was able to do it on the next one and the next one and the next one and the next one. So like the big thing is, you can't be lazy. You got to be willing to get out there and work. You got to, if you have sales skills, go be a real estate agent. You don't have to do the tangible thing. Like for me, it was just as easy for me to sell the properties for people as to flip the properties. And while I'm selling the properties, I see deals everywhere I go. So I've gotten really good at knowing and seeing opportunity and basically just executing on it. And I just really wanted to make this video because I was driving over to this listing today and I had some time and I was like, you know what? People need to hear this. I feel like there's some really bad information on the internet about real estate. Everybody's trying to show how easy it is. Is it easy? Well, there's some deals that are easy. And there's some deals that you got to put some sweat equity in. And if you've watched my videos with Robert Biggerstaff, that video is on this channel. He's got 21 properties. Bought most of them for $5,000. But you know what? He worked his tail off to get those properties in a position to rent to somebody, to sell them, owner finance them to other people. He was able to put basically chess pieces on the board and see what he needed to do next to make money with those properties. And he's developed a portfolio worth like $2 or $3 million. And he's never, been a millionaire prior to that. He bought them. He did what he could with his bare hands to make them livable and habitable. And now he owns like a whole block. So you can do it. And I want to just do this to motivate you and encourage you that you can do it. So in closing all this, I don't want to make the video too long. There's a lot to it. Just know your numbers. Don't over renovate. Renovate within reason, and you can back it up with your numbers. Know what things cost. Know what materials cost, and take a look at your market and understand what comparable values are. What real estate agents use. Know the difference of 70% to ARV is usually wholesale numbers, or you're getting it at a price. So the after repair value times 70% minus expenses is wholesale numbers, and 80% minus expenses are rental numbers, investment properties. And remember, the 1% rule every agent tells you and everybody out there tells you is pretty much hogwash, because the property will not cash flow at 1% rent rule. Look that up if you don't know what it is, because insurance is going up, taxes is going up, and just management costs and everything is going up, and it's going to be really hard to cash flow at 1%. You need 1.5% or better, or you need 2%, and those deals really don't exist anymore since the market has gone up so much. Nobody will rent for, and don't exceed that at 1%. Really, you need to be above that. So keep your numbers on your waistband. Read as much as you can. Start with a little deal. Do not start with a big deal. Start with a little deal. Get some experience and work your way up from there. And if you don't know enough in the deal, partner with somebody that knows more than you. And stay with the numbers. Do not leave the numbers. And that's all I got, guys. I wanted to make this video real quick since I was thinking about it. And maybe it helps somebody. And maybe it'll help somebody get the financial freedom to kind of break this stuff down. Because out of all the books I've read, it really just boils down to that. Don't over-renovate. Stay with your numbers. So comment down below if this helped. See you guys in the next video.